3, 2, 1. You're live.
All right, I am live. Oh my goodness, I'm live. All right, I even heard Steph saying 3, 2, 1 in there. So there we go. Welcome. Hello. How are you? Thank you for attending. We are back on track. So apologies for those of you who had dialed in yesterday and hopes to see the live stream yesterday. We had some crazy technical difficulties on 3 different computers, and we weren't able to get the live stream to actually launch and get going for us on the right place. And we decided to, instead of keeping everybody waiting, we would just reschedule for today. So thank you again for tuning back in today. Hopefully you are here because you have wonderful questions to ask. We have completed, I would say, not yet 100% of our migration, but we have completed 95%, at least 95, maybe a little bit higher, percent of our migration of the SAP Community to its new home. This has been an ongoing process for us. We spent a good 14 months planning it out, working on it, talking about it, discussing it. We did user testing, we did focus groups, we did all sorts of different activities to try to make sure that we were thinking about everything possible. We talked to outside consultants about, community setups and community engagement. We had kickoff meetings and larger group meetings in a couple of different places around the world just to bring everybody together to make sure that we're talking about all this stuff. And we wanted to be sure that we put as much effort into making this as smooth as possible. But of course, when you're dealing with over 30 million pieces of content and users and everything like that, it can be a daunting and difficult task. So it's not perfect, but it is looking really good. We have done, like I said, a lot of different user testing, different focus groups and everything like that. Plus, we actually had probably the longest running beta that we ever have had, because the platform has actually been running live for us since October of 2021, because that's where all of our groups activity and things like that were already happening. So we already had a lot of ideas of things that needed to get tweaked or fixed or modified or adjusted. But of course, we're also wanting to approach it from the concept of keep the core clean, right? We want to make sure that we don't customize this vendor's software too much to the point where we get stuck into a situation where we can't make updates or adjustments as well. So just to recap, January 16th, we started our migration, the actual full process after having done, I think, 7 test migrations of everything. It started on the 16th. The site went into read-only mode, which included not even being able to log in, of course. And we started the process of basically doing our user merging. So all of our hundreds of thousands, it's over 1 million accounts that we needed to pull and merge all together. And a lot of those accounts actually haven't even completed yet. So there are some people who opted to stay private, or they didn't want to be migrated, or we had individuals who didn't check already. So if you've noticed on the site, when we went live, it said like 705,000 members. I think it's up to like 710,000 members. So more and more users are activating themselves and getting themselves all put back together and everything like that. So we're really excited that, it's as we go, we're getting things corrected and focused and everything. And then that user merge unfortunately broke on us in the process, unfortunately. So we had to restart, and that started our first set of delays. And that was like a 48-hour process, literally 48 hours from start to finish running. So that created our first delays. And then, of course, some of you were there trying to log into the system already once we had activated the logins, and then before we took it out of the, couldn't create a new content perspective, we were getting 504 errors and things like this, but got it all sorted. Everything's up and running. The platform is running stable and strong right now. Some of the last things that we had to do, and I see in the chat somebody saying they miss their badges. If you click in the menu across the top under the It says my content. It's like the first icon under the menu on the top. It says my content. When you go into it, up in the top right corner, it says view all your badges. So all of those badges were brought over and brought all together. So we're really excited that we were able to bring all those in. We also brought in new badges and started some new things as well. You know what? Actually, let me show you this, right? So let me show this. So let me share my screen and make sure I'm sharing the right thing that I want to share, right? So here we go, sharing. All right, so you should be seeing the SAP community screen. 2.7 million posts. These are questions, these are blog posts, these are discussion threads. This number actually doesn't even include all of the accompanying content like comments and replies and answers and everything like that. The 710,000 members, and currently we have over 9,000 people currently online. So first and foremost, badges. I saw that in the chat with the badges. So if I click over here on the My Content tab, I can get to all of my content within the system. I can see what my current rank is. I've been a member since. I can see the number of posts that I've done, the solutions, the kudos that I've given, the kudos that I've also received. And of course, right here, I can view all of my badges. And if I go to all of my badges, I can see that I've earned 126 so far. I can also see that 179,000 people have earned the Welcome to the Community badge. I can see the first kudo given was earned by 133,000, first reply, first thread, first kudo received, first accepted answer. Then we have, of course, all of our what we call the legacy badges. These are badges that have been in existence even prior to this version or prior to the last version of Community and everything like that. So we're all pretty excited about that. And you can see of course, my screen's not loading there. We'll have to check a couple of these little things. Then like my diamond. So there was myself and 78 other members had diamond level from the original before the last migration. So we tried to bring as much in with us as possible and bring it all together. And then of course we have new badges coming and new activities ongoing. And you can find all of that under the My Content area. So the My Content area is your area where you can see things that are going on. I can't scroll too far down because of course I see a little bit more than other people see. And of course, if you look at it, you'll also see your own private information and everything like that. So I don't want to give out too much information there. But from a navigation perspective, you can see that we have on the community now, we have our products and technology area. Now, we are also, of course, part of SAP, right? Because we are SAP ourselves. And therefore, we need to also look at this from an overall SAP perspective, which is why you'll see the 8 dominant categories of content. So CRM, ERP, finance, HCM, PLM, spend, SCM, and of course, technology. You can go to the all blogs page. This shows you all blog posts across the entire platform that you yourselves have access to. So there are some areas like our partner area where you need to have a partner login to be able to get to. But if you do, you have access to the partner area. And of course, that means we also need to understand that some of that content I see may not be the same content you see, or some of the content your colleague or your friends may see may not be the same stuff. We have questions about SAP website. So if you have a question about SAP for me, if you have a question about Help Portal, SAP Learning, things like that, where you're actually questioning about like the website itself, something's not working for you or something, you can actually go into there. And of course, as usual, or as it has been since 2016, we are still a tag-based environment. And that tag-based environment is our managed tags. And of course, so for example, if I'm interested in seeing ABAP development, I can click on the ABAP development. I am on the ABAP development tag page as a result of this. And I can subscribe to that page and I can get all the content that I want from that page. I can also then see that, oh, well, I'm looking at 42,619 topics that mention ABAP development in the SAP community. I could also try to say, you know what, I'm only interested in those that are in the application development group, right? So I don't want to look at any of the others. I only want to look at the application development group. And then I can actually filter my content down, and I can then quickly see, I blog post, discussion, and these are the latest posts. Then I can see any latest replies, I can see top posts, etc. Or I can even, search for it. So if I wanted to search, for example, for the SAP community, as soon as I tag it in, the first option I get are places, but I also get the managed tags. So if I go to the managed tag, this will also take me to the managed tag page, where I can then also see the latest post. And here, of course, I have the latest replies because I've replied on tags related to this. I can see the top things. And of course, I can see my things as well. And I can see this is in the what's new, this is in the influencers directory, this is in the influencer directory, this is in the coffee corner discussions, this is in general on the SAP community. And I can either go to that item itself, or I can actually click in and just go to the whole area and say, oh, I'm in the coffee corner now. I can see what's going on. Oh, here's one. Here's Stephen Johannes, back to being everyday SAP user. I can look in there. I can see what he wrote. I can see, oh, Tammy already replied. Oh, Royal St. Louis 1985 World Series Award. Well, let's kudo those two things up so that there's more activity there. So definite activity and things that you can do. And of course, from a breadcrumb perspective, I can see where I am. I can go back to the discussion level, and I can see all discussions, and I can see the most recent activity. Now, the most recent activity is not the most recent post, it's the most recent activity. It could be a comment on a post. It could be an additional thing, answer on a question. It could be a comment on a question. It could be a comment on a blog post. And so therefore, it could be that you may see something that is older than it is, or like this one here, the best movie ever, which was actually a very old thread that we had. As you can see, it has a lot of views and comments on it and likes, but because somebody recently added a comment to it, actually today, I did get a notification about that, then of course, this comes back up into the most recent post view. Right? So you have different options. You can also, once you're here, you can subscribe or unsubscribe to the threads. You can also subscribe via RSS to this activity for the discussion area. You can go into the coffee corner. If you go into the coffee corner and you subscribe at this level, you're going to get notification about everything within the coffee corner. If I subscribed at just the discussion level, I would only get at the discussion level. And the reason that's interesting or important is because if I go to, for example, the application development group. Now, when I'm in this group, I have choices. There is a discussion area and there is a blog post area. If you're not somebody who's interested in blog posts and you rather just interact and communicate with your fellow community members, then you may want to just subscribe at just the discussion level and not both. Because if you subscribe at this level, the group top level, you will then, of course, get everything that's posted once, whether it hits discussion or blog post. Now you can combine that subscription together with your favorite tags and things like this so that you can continue to get all of the content regardless of the location as well. Meanwhile, if you go into, let's just go to the, I'll go to the supply chain management category. I can also subscribe at this level, which means that anything that comes into the Q&A, blogs by members or blogs by SAP, I will also get notifications about. But if I'm only interested in Q&A, or if I'm only interested in what SAP is writing about the topic, I can also then go into those individual areas and only subscribe there. So it always is a subscription of that level and below it, right? So that's something to keep in mind when you're subscribing. And once you do subscribe, you can then also get RSS feeds and things like that as well. All right, I can see badges. Oh, I think I did that. So Marian, if you check under your My Content area, hopefully you have all your badges. If not, please let us know. You can drop an email to community@sap.com. and we will take a look and make sure that everything is linked up properly for you. Yes, the interface has changed. Hopefully we've cleaned it up quite a bit. Again, the products, the area, you can go to the all blog area. You can still go to blogs.sap.com. You can get to all of this. You can go to the groups area. You can see all the different groups that we offer. We have some areas that are accessible only by invitation or by your login. So for example, the partner area, for example, if you go to the partner area, you must have a partner login to be able to get into their groups. But once you do, you have full access to all of the partner areas that are available. Our topic pages are still here. So all your favorite topic pages are still there. They got a facelift as well. They look different. You can see, so for example, if we go here, you can, you still have options to follow or create, or you even have options, for example, if we take a look at success factors, if you're a success factors person and you're interested in what's going on with the success factors world, if I go here, you notice it only has a create option. There isn't a follow option. And that's by choice, right? So you can follow there, you can create there, you can go to all their different pages and things like that they have. They do a lot of activity here to just get everybody up to speed. We also have our event listing. Hopefully, many of you found the event by going to the event listing. The fun thing about this is, for example, hopefully it doesn't automatically start, but if I go to the listing here and I hit play, it will actually sync up to the YouTube, so you can actually watch it right from here. And of course, you can comment on this post itself if you had questions, or of course, you can post your questions in the chat as well. And then the biggest one is our What's New area. You can now subscribe to the What's New, right? You can get it via RSS or system subscription. And of course, here in the What's New is where we are going to publish and post about all the new things coming, whether we're changing something. For example, this weekend, we're probably going to need to turn off the notifications on the weekend in order to do a couple of scripts and get some post-migration processing done. We would be putting a blog entry in here tomorrow about that. We're trying to do that on a weekend just to minimize the impact that it has on everybody, and then we'll go from there. All right, so next question, how can we check for which post was the kudo was given from the kudos given by a person section on the right? Oh, that's a great question. So kudos given by, so if I go to the My Content area and kudos from, I don't think you can, to be honest with you. You would see it in your notifications. So for example, I have one new notification. Somebody posted on this thread that I've subscribed to. I can also see here that this person kudoed, the community is all moved in. And if I remember correctly, that was the latest kudo. So the newest one is going to be on your top. So your notifications would actually indicate to you where. And of course, under your recent notifications here, I can see that this user gave me a kudo 37 minutes ago. And if I want to know for sure, I can go here and I can actually click and I can see who gave me the kudos. And of course, some of the other great things that we have that I want to make sure everybody's aware of, for example, the application development area, if you want to talk about building and coding and all of these things together and development methodology tools and career development, this is a great place to go. If you want to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, this is a fantastic place to go as well. This is about topics in general, not just about SAP. And then, of course, we have, which is really cool. So if you have new people in your organization or people starting out or people wanting to change their focus area of where they're going, we actually have job opportunities posted. We have discussions and things about what's going on. And people sharing experiences and everything like that. So this is a great place to go. And the job opportunities are really cool because it's actually job opportunities that are being posted. And this could be by SAP customers or SAP partners or by SAP themselves. And as you can see, you can scroll through here. And each one of these will link to where the posting actually is. So this is to make you aware so you can subscribe to this to get the updates. And then, of course, if you want to move on from there, then you would follow whatever the process is on that local site. We also have our learning area. And this one's really cool because in the learning area, We have our board and on SAP Learning, where if you have questions about certification, about different learning journeys and everything like that, you'd want to definitely take a look here. But what's really cool, and this is brand new for this year, we've got, we're sharing journeys from salesperson to SAP consultant, for example. So these are really cool. You'll be able to follow along a story of somebody who's actually participated in the different learning journeys and taken advantage of the different things that are being offered. And it's a really cool story that you can read about and see what's going on. So definitely there. And of course, you'll want to like it as well. And then, of course, you can subscribe to this individual piece of content as well. You can subscribe to the RSS feed for it. You can subscribe to the content directly and everything like that. So definitely opportunities for everybody there. If you're interested in the industry areas, we've created groups for each one of our industries so you can actually have conversations around the different topics and actually be able to dive in. So if you're somebody that was involved in the automotive like I was before I started working at SAP, this could be the area that you want to go to and everything like that. All right. Yeah. And then, of course, getting started, we have our welcome corner. Recommend everybody go there and say hi. We have our FAQ area where you can read about different help documentation and help content. And of course, we have our all resources area, which has our rules of engagement. It has information about partners, the privacy statements, our DSA items. And this is a big topic that you'll be hearing more about from us. There's some of the changes to the platform, some of the changes to the site. Some of the alterations that we have undergone are actually because of this new regulation coming from the EU government. So there is a new regulation coming from the EU government. You'll see this starting to change on other platforms that you're used to being active on social media wise, for example, where we're live streaming. And these are things that are coming into play that, of course, because of this, we have to make changes on our platform as well. So some of the changes coming may not make any sense in the grand scheme of the SAP world. However, it is a EU government regulation that we're adapting to. And we'll be sharing more about this along the way. So I really highly recommend you subscribe to that What's New area. And then, of course, if you haven't already, we truly, truly encourage everyone to take the tour of the SAP community. It is not long. There's not a lot of questions, but the whole idea behind it is to get you up to speed, get you aware of it. And then, of course, there's a badge associated with this. So you'll also earn the badge for that. But it's definitely something that we want to make sure everybody's aware of and that you do. And honestly, I don't even think it'll take you 25 minutes. I think it'll probably be more like a 15-minute thing. But depending on how new or not you are to the community. But we wanted to go through that. It also talks about, for example, blogging and what's changed with the blogging. So that's a big question that a lot of people have is blogging, right? In the old system, we had one place with one area for the draft. If you want to see all your drafts, regardless of area, on the My Content page, you scroll down. I can't do it because you'll see things that I shouldn't be showing on a live stream with personal data and all that. But if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you'll see a draft linking of all of your location and everything that you have. Otherwise, if, for example, I was in the financial area and I wanted to write a blog post and I'm an SAP employee, I would go to Blogs by SAP. And then I can go to the Start a Blog Post, or I could go into the blog drafts that are mine, and then be able to show it. And if I was not an SAP employee, of course, I would go into the Blogs by Members. All right. So one of the big requests that we had was how can I separate and see SAP versus non-SAP so that I know the content that I'm subscribing to for one reason or another. So this is some of those reasons that through our user testing that we started to do these separations and get the system set up in these ways. Like I said, it was a lot of user testing that we did. We did several rounds of it last year. And of course, this platform itself has been running since October of 2021. So it's kind of fun to see and explore that the platform has been up and running for so long with thousands and thousands of daily activities to give us a real feel for the scale, the portability of it, the robustness of the platform. So we've been pretty happy so far, but we still got a long ways to go. But last thing that I'll talk about here before we look for even more questions, please, if you have them, keep them coming. I'll also check my feedback here once again, just to see, is the welcome corner, so that you can see, what people are talking about. People are saying hello and everything like that. So, and as you can see, like some of these, like 114,000 views. I mean, the stuff is posted, has been going on for a really long time. So there's a lot of activity in there. So let's see if I have notifications of people up. So here we go. We have a comment on the event. Is there just the YouTube chat? Unfortunately, can't log in the chat. Yes, unfortunately, there is only a YouTube chat. Yes, unfortunately, there is only the YouTube chat and comments on the site here. So live real time, got those notifications. Now, also what I did right before the call started, I sent a message to all people who had marked that they were attending, and that sent it as a message. And there we go. Thanks for reminding. Now, the fun thing here is you can actually manage friends and ignore people. You can actually mark somebody as ignore. You can manage friends and things like that. And these are things that you have the control over. And you also have that ability under your settings to then go in and say, for example, private messenger, I can turn them off. If you don't want to receive private messages, you can turn this off. Otherwise, you can. You can also say, don't email me if I get a private message. These are all choices that you have. You can also set, for example, under your preferences here, you can set your time zone. I'm in Central Europe. I'm based in Germany. I can use the default English as my language. I can also select one of the other language packs that we have available. I can choose to ignore HTML. So if something comes in with HTML in it, I can have it stripped out. I can view signatures in the post. I can do a lot of different things like that. I can also change my formats, linear things like that. I can change my date display. So if I would like to have month, day, year, which I actually like, even though I've been in Germany for a really long time, I can do that, or I can actually just literally just change it. I can also use relative dates, like 3 hours ago, which is the default, or I can change it myself to absolute or relative. I can also turn on quick reply options, which makes the replying functionality much quicker. And these are things that you have full control over as you go through. You can go through all of the different things, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. You can see, as you see, we have other components that we have not yet enabled yet, that we have to get through. So as you play around and look through these things, you will see additional things and everything like that. But one of the most important areas is, of course, looking at your notifications. And you can also look at your own bookmarks, right? So if you bookmark any of the pages or anything like that. So all possibilities that you have as an individual user, and you can change those things. So always highly recommend changing and making sure your default time zone is set the way you want, so that you see it in the time that you would expect to see it. And then you're good to go. All right, so pause there to see if there's any new questions in the chat. I don't see any new notifications on the screen, so I don't think anybody wrote any additional comments. But yeah, and that one change I had made to my date format, if you noticed, we'll scroll down here, that my date format has now automatically changed to day, month, year, which is kind of a German thing. Time format, not sure on that one. I would have preferred a 24-hour clock myself, but that was not an option. So we will check with the vendor on that. Other things to think about or keep in mind is, you'll notice that some people here have associate, some people have explorer, some people have active contributor, some people have participant. These are our rank ladders, and our rank ladder is how you move up and down in the community. And some people have already discovered that at, for example, active contributor, you can accept or unaccept solutions on behalf of the person who wrote it. So even if it's not yourself. And the whole idea behind that is, if you remember, in our old platform, we had, if you upvoted it like 3 or more times, we would go and accept it on behalf, because we take the crowdsourced knowledge acceptance type of thing. And here in the system, we've actually automatically given it to our different folks. So we have our rank ladder is there, so you can see all the different ranks. Employees have a different rank ladder as well. So for example, here is the SAP support user. Many of you have seen this on the community. This is an SAP employee. It is actually a collection of our support engineers who are helping to answer questions and everything in the community as well. So it is legit, and this time we're able to apply the SAP icon. So if you see this SAP icon, it is an SAP employee, and it is legit in that regard. But yeah, so that's where we have in those, you see the top kudoed authors. So for example, if we go here to Sandra, who is dominating in terms of the kudos received, and Sandra she has literally hit the ground running, and you can see that she is doing an amazing job there. And then we can see it, and she's an active contributor. She's been a member since 2006, and she's online right now. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot to unpack in here, right? Absolutely, just a lot to unpack. But I don't want to keep everybody too long. If there are no more additional questions, I will pause here. I think that's a lot to take in and a lot to do. We are still taking all of your feedback. It doesn't matter if you continue to post it into the chat here of the YouTube video, if you send it via private messages, if you send it to me on LinkedIn, if you send via emails to community@sap.com, if you comment on one of the blog posts, or if in one of the threads or something like that. We are reading and absorbing all of your feedback. How soon or how quickly we will be able to react to all of that feedback is not yet known. Like I said, we still have an action, for example, this weekend that we have to take to get a few things, post-migration topics finalized and flushed out. There's a couple of other things that'll be coming as well. And there's still, of course, a few things here and there where we're like, that's not doing the way we thought it was going to do. Something went phooey. So we're still tweaking and modifying things here and there, but then we will start looking at the feedback and we will see what we want to do. One of the things that I've seen people ask about is, I can't see my blog views anymore. How many views the blog post had? It's there. We just need to tweak the UI for it. So that is one of the items that we need to get solved and taken care of. But of course, we want to make sure we get all of the data in and all of the data cleaned up and everything like that. Some people have posted about, when's the retagging going to be finished? The retagging is done. We still have a little bits here and there to do. I think there's 165 items that we have on the list that somebody has to manually go through and change. There's a couple of other things where it's maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that need to get changed, because they have this tag, but it actually should be this tag, but both tags are the same thing, but it's a system thing that we have because each of our tags has an ID in the back end. So there's little things like that. So biggest takeaway, please subscribe to the What's New, and please keep your comments and feedback flowing. We are reading and collecting every single one of them. And please give us, have a little bit of patience with us as we finalize things. And we are trying to collect all the feedback to give solid replies. We don't want to just do one reply here, one reply here, one reply here, because then not everybody gets the information. So the What's New area is where you'll see a lot of stuff come in. And with that said, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, evening, or morning, whatever the case should be. And thank you so much for spending this time with us. Have a great one, and we'll see you in the SAP community. Take care.